Toyota Field. It's time to get loud for tonight's starter. Fans, presenting the colors tonight is the Navy Operations Honor Guard. At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. Joining tonight's officials and team captains is tonight's honorary co-captain, Matthew Jefferson.
If we win, very similar play. That guy has an engine that really just doesn't stop. He just keeps going box to box, and really vital asset there for San Antonio.
For the reigning goalkeeper of the year, get his defense organized, missing their defender of the year in the USL in Tainer. That ball glanced off the head and all the way back to the goalkeeper.
It's a good read by Batista. Got a little feisty on the way out there, though.
Yeah, based on the physicality, we may see how green and red look together tonight.
Yeah, lots of time on the ground, something tells me. And there's nothing wrong with shielding the ball there. Just, I think the momentum helped them out on that one, falling down to the ground.
How about the season thus far for Lamar Batista? 2 goals scored, back-to-back USL Team of the Week nominations. His 26 clearances lead the team 3rd in the league, but was on a 25-day deal, but recently converted that to a full year-long deal, so he knows home will be San Antonio.
And earned completely and fully, and I know there's a lot of people on Twitter asking and begging for SAFC to sign him a little longer term than we had him, and it's not often you see a guy who can walk in to a game only having been picked up and made it to San Antonio a couple days prior and have a big showing like that and then continue to fall into the lineup seamlessly. I think, you know, that kind of adaptability is really what's key for a lot of these players for moving forward in their careers. If you can't adapt, then...
That ball benefiting San Antonio, trickling forward. Pirano had it on his foot unexpectedly.
Ooh. Love to see that replay. Watch it back here. I had a feeling, yep, right off the foot of Batista. Great chip and placement, and had that backspin on it, so it slowed the ball down so Pirano could get on the end of it. Very pretty soccer.
Tried to find Bailoni. Out of bounds. Nearly a dangerous linkage. Bailoni looking for Smith.
Good fight there from PC. Playing more on the defensive side, understandably so.
Coach Briggs asking how that was not a foul. You can see the words coming off his lips. But I loved how he spoke of his team. He said, ruthlessness is where they have room for improvement. And you would think, well, Coach, you're coming off a match, USL-wise, where you won 5-0 against Louisville. And he said, yeah, but we could have scored 8 or 9. Really wanting to, you had spoke of respecting the opponent by continuing to push all the way through the end of the match.
Right, you don't want to let up, because then that's the worst feeling if you're getting beat pretty bad and then you realize the other team's now starting to take it easy. I'd rather, if you're going to beat us, and let us get you back later.
Coach Briggs, though, really likes chemistry of this group. Said they have very little selfishness. It's his counterpart, Marcina, both taking exception with the early officiating.
Only a few minutes in, already seen some physicality, but nothing too crazy yet. But again, if the ref doesn't kind of keep things under control, that's when it gets crazy.
It's a Sacramento Republic team that finished 4th in the Western Conference last year, losing in the quarterfinals of the playoffs to Colorado Springs. 2-1. San Antonio, the reigning champs. Sacramento did such back in 2014, winning the USL. Then in 2016, they were the regular season champs in the Western Conference. But an immense amount of respect from Coach Briggs towards San Antonio, and knowing, hey, these are the champs from last year, and knowing how difficult it would be coming in, albeit with a team that has started off very well. That ricochets perfectly onto the foot of the attacker. Farr was there for the save.
Wow, good on Farr just to get a foot in front of it. That was fast. Sometimes that's all you can do.
Good chip in, hard contact. Whistle is blown. To the turf was Maloney, but he had cleared it earlier. But how about the save from Farr?
Per usual, Farr does exactly what SAFC needs him to do, gets there just in time, and it was in such an odd spot. There was no other way he could have saved that other than with his foot and trying to clear it to the best of his ability.
Mention the offensive nature of this Sacramento group. Second, a ton of categories. Attacking wise. They shoot the ball a lot. And they can score moving forward. Pirano with the speed. Corner coming.
Something Pirano does a really great job of, just keeping the ball on his feet and forcing pressure there in the box, creating turnovers that give them set pieces like corners, just like we're seeing here. It's like he's holding his ribs there. They have a side stitch.
So the first corner of the evening for San Antonio. Some confusion amongst the fans, players as well, as to who that ball might have gone off of.
Nobody happy about that one, at least in the stands. Players not too happy about it either. Hard for me to say who got deflected off of. It's a close one.
"12 minutes past this opening half of two teams first in the Western Conference. Fifth match of the USL season for both. Already seen one quality opportunity for Sacramento, but the save from Farr. Couple good linkages for San Antonio, including this, but a wealth of black jerseys there to meet the attacking red.
It's a good idea on the service. Not often you see 3-on-3 when you're on the other half of the field. I think Sacramento was expecting a change in transition there. SAFC tried to catch him off guard. Just pass accuracy off a little bit. But if you notice, you kind of have Carter Mainley and Zico Bailey over there on the right, switching spots back and forth. I think where they're missing there with Tainer is that height advantage, and you know, he can cover a lot of ground, his speed.
Some speed as that shot hits the upper 90. A great look. BC will feed it in. That ball will trickle out of bounds, but wow.
And that was one of those shots that kind of plays an optical illusion. I had to really think hard on that one, and nope, that was, yeah, all bar right at the top. Oof, only a couple inches shorter and it would have been good. PC not too happy about that return shot.
That would have been early candidate for goal of the year.
Oh yeah.
San Antonio still with the ball down in the attacking third. They'll have another corner kick coming. So we've seen two great opportunities. Milone nearly striking, catching crossbar. Almost square on that left 90 as you look at the goal. Corner is low and short.
Great hustle there from Abu, but looks like didn't work out too well there.
Contact up top. It's Lopez down. Arnold Lopez, one of two Lopez's on the team. Rodrigo Lopez is the captain, number 8. Arnold Lopez, number 29. This turned out to be a beautiful evening for a match. The weather has not been all week. It's been rain, humid, but it's cool, breezy.
It's really the perfect soccer weather. You do have a crosswind, so no matter what side of the field you're on, you're kind of working with the same thing. Keeping it even Stevens in true SAFC and Sac Republic fashion.
Yeah, even the all-time series history, but even the amount of goals scored, 10 by both. Both teams good opportunities. Who can strike first? That's served up, but Vitiello there to glove it. Quick back out the other way.
Such a solid head flick there from Kamarni. I think those combinations up top have been extremely clinical and of really high quality. We haven't seen a ton of that coming from Sac Republic just yet.
These last 7 or so minutes, ball seemed to be down in the attacking third for San Antonio, almost exclusively. Not much moving the other way for Sacramento, trying to change such. Tough challenge from behind. The official did not like. As the yellow card comes out on Christian Pirano. What'd you see?
Yeah, I can tell you right now, coming from behind, wasn't clearly all ball. And he puts his hand up there to apologize, and I think he was hoping to get out of the yellow on that one. Not, I would say, deserving of a yellow, just to kind of keep things under control right now.
7th yellow card of the season for San Antonio. No reds. Wrestling for the ball down in the deep left corner. It's Ja'Cory Hayes, Jared Timmer, 2 number 5s.
Timmer has been one of those players that have started all matches on defense. Not something you see often is Sac Republic changing up their back line. Seems to be working really well from them. Coach had mentioned he heavily recruited more center backs just to make the position itself more competitive. And I mean, that's really intelligent coaching there, because not only more competitive, but more depth.
Good head by Gurr to keep the ball in. There's a tough challenge from behind.
Marcina not too happy about that.
Yeah, the intensity that we expected has started to show itself after the initial feel-out process.
Not even 20 minutes in yet, getting dramatic.
Head ball is right down onto the foot of Smith. Drilled it with the right. Vidiello there to make the save.
Woo! By Loney Camarney, this give and go, head flick, and then to put it on frame, great stuff there from SAFC. It's only a matter of time. They've got all the momentum at their back right now.
Can it come off this corner? PC with the service ball. The header is wide. Filoni reacts in frustration, but the ball will stay down on this side. Chance to do it again.
Good sign there of him getting on the end of it, working to win that ball.
This one lower and shorter. Ricochets deep all the way back out. Zico Bailey had it off a defender.
Felt like that was a clean tackle. And that one.
Official did not.
And that's why I'm not a ref. Ooh, yep, that's
Did not
that's
there
gonna get
either.
called. Yep.
Jared Timmer, the player that was to the ground. Quick play back the other way. It's a cross, deflected. Good play in the box by Connor Maloney with the block, sacrificing the body.
Connor Maloney showing up with some keeper moves, some ninja type blocks there. I mean, that's the best thing about him is he's completely sacrificial there in the box. No one's getting in his way.
He never plays with a lack of energy. Shot out of a cannon and diving in front of that last opportunity.
Watch him back here, showing off his acrobatics, quick feet.
Off the hip.
It's one way to do it, as long as you get it done, right?
Better than in the gut or
Right.
could
Got
be
his
worse.
hands out of the
Yeah,
way.
You got a good bone there.
Yeah.
He's take some
Lots of
contact.
muscle.
Corner coming for Sacramento. Whistle blown as the official did not like what was going on in the box. Ekaterina Koroleva, our official for the evening.
Always good to see ladies working in sports.
Absolutely.
And officiating games, even on the men's side.
High service ball. Stays in the corner. Set off of Bailey, out of bounds, throw incoming.
Good work from Bailey, completely out of position there. But that's the great thing about this SAFC lineup. They do a good job of reading each other. It's not such a stationary lineup. Many players able to play multiple positions.
Another cross far will back off and let Maloney send it out with the head, but still on the boot.
And Sac Republic now beginning to turn up the heat.
Corner coming from the other side. Sacramento team, second trip down to the Lone Star State on the young season. They began in El Paso, a 1-0 win to begin their season. Service ball is in, bouncing around. San Antonio chance to clear. Good dummy move.
Solid composure there. A lot of people tend to just force out of the back when they're under that kind of pressure. That's why I like to see those outside backs get up, because they tend to be the most composed building out of the back, and they can do the same on other parts of the field. Sometimes they just don't get a chance to do it.
After that 1-0 victory over El Paso, then 4 consecutive matches at home is moving forward. Iloni, contact in the box, 2 players down for San Antonio, but back the other way.
Hitting the wall, that is Jared Timmer. No spin moves for him there on that one.
Held his ground firmly. Sacramento has had a good response. After the opening 5, the next 10 really controlled by San Antonio. Vidiello was well out. Fans were licking their chops. Eyes got big with Bailoni close.
Gutsy but necessary. One of those keepers who actually had the Golden Glove in 2020 for the USL Championship. So quality keeper meeting a quality keeper.
Played back to aforementioned other quality keeper, and far is another whistle.
Good look there from Sacramento's back line. It's not often you can catch someone offsides that high up on the field, but they did it.
Bailey clears with the head, throw in coming. Across those 4 matches, a draw for Sacramento against Charleston, then 1-0 over San Diego, and the 5-0 win against Louisville. Then they play their Open Cup match at home against the Crossfire. Crossfire of the NPSL. That went to extra time, just like SAFC did here on Tuesday night. Johnny Fenwick in the 111th minute netted the 9th goal of the game for Sac Republic to win 5-4. But not a ton of the players out on the pitch this evening saw action in those games. Are available, some, as you mentioned, especially for San Antonio, but it's a good start. We've learned the opponent for San Antonio, round 3 at Nashville FC. Oakland Roots will be the opponent for Sacramento. They advance in the Open Cup.
Nashville, really quality team. We also saw Oakland Roots earlier this season, and you know, they brought quite the feistiness to the table as well. And you know, I think that's something you can always expect at Toyota Field, for there to be a bit of a chippy game, but especially when you're trying to advance in the U.S. Open Cup, can for sure expect that there from Oakland.
Nothing doing, try to sight it in, was Wheat with the ball over his head. Potential bicycle, but out of bounds. San Antonio, they began their season here at home against Oakland Roots. It was a 3-1 victory. Then they go on the road. Loudoun United, 1-1 draw. Then the Switchbacks in a very physical game. It was replay of last year's Western Conference Finals. 1-0 goes in favor of Colorado Springs. Then on the road at Monterey Bay. So their 3rd match here at home. 15-match unbeaten streak. Cumulative, but showed you top of the show. 20-match unbeaten streak here at Toyota Field. 15-0-5 plus 32 goal differential, 11 shutouts. The last loss April 2nd of 2022.
Nice head back there from Batista, but you know, going into the unbeaten streak, I think something we can say about both teams is that they're both very much focused on just the game at hand, and not getting too caught up in stats and accolades. They've, you know, seem to just be really focused on getting through game by game.
Pirano liking that space on the pitch, striking again, that ricocheting right back, an opportunity, and not quite enough juice. On the second look, PC was there for San Antonio.
Not quite enough juice, but on frame and dangerous. You could You can see Jack Gurr there shaking his head. Thankful that one didn't come to fruition. We'll watch it back here. Nice trap and bring down from PC. Pretty good power, just Keep got on the end of it. Good read from the keep too.
Keep an eye though on Pirano, really feeling that area about 10 feet back, right corner of the box. He struck with that left foot. Yellow card coming, second yellow card of the match. Saw one earlier. Pirano getting it in the 18th. Connor Donovan be the recipient.
Donovan actually spent some time on the U.S. men's national team, U17 and U20. Really solid presence there for Coach Mark Briggs. Just holding it down there in center, and you know what? It happens sometimes. Moments like these, but let's see if San Antonio can capitalize.
Fabian Garcia up there with Mohamed Abu. Vidiello getting pumped up. There's a strike punched out by Vidiello.
Great punch and save there from Vidiello. Had a nice little bend on it there from Fabian. Just not quite enough to get past.
Quick throw in from Bailey, who will now serve. The ball in the header is wide. Nacho Bailoni.
Again, just really good stuff coming into the box. Quality services from SAFC, quality build-up, some great 1-2s and flicks on. I'm liking this trio up top and the way that they move and they play.
Kamarni Smith, Christian Pirano, Nacho Bailoni. Bailoni just unable to turn. Back the other way. Cicerone taking the space as Gurr will fill. Been prowling that right side hard. Was lagged back just a touch. You were inviting him. Say, hey.
I was saying, hey, there's a nice big
Come on
wide
down.
open spot for you to call for the ball, and that's what he did. Good on him, mostly because he had a bit of a collision there with PC, so it took some time on the pitch before he got back up. It kind of worked to his advantage there because gave him a nice open spot to run into.
Gurr will be the one to handle the throw-in as we hit the 32-minute mark in this opening half. Both teams 10 points. Top the Western Conference table. These two joined by San Diego. Switchbacks currently in fourth. A very young season. Ball kept in. Bailoni moving for space, but just got clipped, it looked like, on the left ankle.
Batista building out of the back there. Great composure. You know, taking his time, trying to recycle the ball. Unfortunate for Bailoni getting a bit of a chip there on the ankle. Struggled a bit in the last couple of games. Missed. Had to come out early of that last game that he was in. So good to see him getting back. Of course, all these players having tons of rest through that U.S. Open match, allowing the young mentality monsters to take the wheel, so to speak.
Yeah, it's us. We didn't get the rest.
Yeah, we're doing overtime this week.
Yeah, it was long into the evening. There was threat of maybe lightning, thunderstorm, but players were falling to the pitch left and right. The humidity was 80% that evening, but tonight is gorgeous. Felt almost like fall. It was so cool walking into the stadium. so much easier to go out and play.
Right. It's also one of those tricky days. You don't know if the temps are going to drop or not, so you dress in layers most of the time.
Might be cold by the end of the match.
Texas,
the sun sets.
Else.
Good cutback by Gurr. Maintains possession. Cicerone has been probing, number 11, leading goal scorer. Challenged by the defense.
Cicerone had 31 goals at Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That's a lot of goals. The way that he and Gurr work together.
Trying to find that goal scorer as Maloney falls to the pitch to serve the ball forward, but stays down. Right back in. Stands right up with some words challenging Luis Felipe. I wanted to back down. I'd seen on social, they had asked everybody on squad who is the strongest player, and everybody had said Connor, pound for pound.
Well, as you can see there, he has no fear either.
No.
It's Connor being Connor, I guess.
Yeah. Can one of these teams strike here in the closing 10-plus minutes of the opening half? Seen good opportunities. A great save by far was the best goal-scoring opportunity for Sacramento. And then Pirano with a left-footed strike that caught the crossbar. Both teams have had chances. Seen better linkage from San Antonio, it feels like.
I would agree. In run of play, their opportunities have been really quality so far for Sacramento Republic. It's come off of set pieces and stopped plays.
Another yellow card coming out. The shoulder on the challenge, just a little bit too much. Lopez received the third yellow card of the game, second for the visitors.
Yep. It's all shoulder. Not a clean tackle there. And Ja'Cory Hayes falling right on the feet of Coach Mark Briggs, shaking his head, saying, what was that about? It's always that awkward moment when you end up on the other team's bench.
Not always a friendly place, I would assume.
No. Never know what you're going to get.
Mohamed Abu back for San Antonio. Swings that ball into a quartet of black jerseys that were in that space. Feels like after the pushes, Sacramento has been more content to drop some jerseys back, more defenders.
That they have. They've been extremely compact on defense, not wanting to risk giving up anything early. In the last matchup, they lost that game in the 17th minute to Samuel Adeniran. No longer on the team, went back to his MLS side of Seattle Sounders, but Adeniran responsible for a ton of goals for SAFC last season, especially in the playoff setting. So one of those players SAFC does miss, but I'm sure if there's anything that other teams know about SAFC, it's not one player that gets you into the playoffs. It's a roster loaded with depth. And so when they show up, they show to play the best.
Was Rodrigo Lopez, Sacramento player, down on the pitch, back up, ready to go.
Great movement there from Sacramento Republic, looking more like themselves with that recycling of the ball, cooking it, trying to create space in the back line at SAFC.
Was Timber that sent it across, gets a decent look, but easy work for Farr.
Hard to say if that one was offside. Bailoni has some speed and ball had some distance to go, but everyone seems to be
I think Bailoni's
on the same page on that one.
Yeah, by his reaction, Bailoni. Let it go.
Yep.
Save the energy.
Great idea, though. Especially from Sacramento Republic. I think if they can do more of that, of switching the field, San Antonio's made it extremely difficult on them to do that and to, you know, cook it, so to speak. But really and truly, that's kind of the only way that they're going to break through SAFC lines and run of play right now. They're not really having much luck playing with that same direct style.
Kerr will throw in again.
Great movement from Cicerone on that.
Back to Kerr. Cleared into space, but still on the foot of Sacramento, moving around. Crossing in, glanced off the head. It was a good look. We talked about it top of the show. Jack Kerr, 2 goals scored on the year. Don't let him fool you. He's back on the defensive line, but he likes to get forward and he likes to score.
That was a lucky miss there for SAFC because he was in the right place at the right time, wide open. I mean, talk about making a great run all the way from out wide, and that's the thing about him. He camps out and you don't expect him to show up, but he does, and it's those late runs that throw off the entire back line for a lot of teams.
And you got to love Jordan Farr. You always see it every time where his defense gets challenged. He is very vocal at calling them out and saying, hey, I need you here. This is where he saw that there was maybe a breakdown. And obviously, his teammates respect that when you do what he does back in the box.
For sure, and just keepers in general tend to have a better view of the field because they don't have anything at their back. They're completely front facing, and so it's always important to trust your keeper and to do what they say.
Yeah, listen to your keeper. Both teams, good opportunities. Vitiello will have to come out and clear the ball as Bailoni's tall frame was in there to give him trouble.
Yeah, it made that one difficult. Almost had to punch it out. Would have been nice to get hands on it there, but when in doubt, punch it out.
So PC throwing in.
Not a bad clearance.
Well, we expected a good one for 2 teams off to hot starts, and it has delivered thus far. Opportunities on both sides, good saves from both keepers. Quality match thus far, but which team can have something to show of it in the scoring column? Can it come in the remaining minutes? Chested down, there is a clear look. Diving was Vitiello, but well clear and wide. There's a lot of English on that strike from Hayes.
Oh man, could see it on his face after that one. I mean, it was a hard angle to take it from, but yeah, he also had a bend on it. He might have had a better chance at going at the opposite upper 90 on that one, but I can understand what he was trying to do with that.
It was a great play set up by Bailoni to just chest the ball down and leave it on the foot of his teammate. Set up the sequence, but we're continuing to see just good sequences that are leading to quality opportunities for San Antonio. Just nothing concrete yet in terms of result, but you do it enough. The hope is that you'll get what you're looking for. Throw in coming for San Antonio.
I think San Antonio can attribute a lot of that to their first touch. They've just had a really solid first touch. Not seeing a ton of like silly turnovers, and I mean, case in point there.
Yeah,
Didn't go exactly where he wanted, but it was a great turn and a nice volley.
Both teams really have had good first touches this evening, especially down in the attacking third for Sacramento.
That they have, and that duo there in Jack Gurr and Cicerone, I can see it.
Seen 3 yellow cards, but for the most part, been a clean match, physical, but clean and opportunities abundant, not overly defensive.
Yeah, no, we've seen some matches where every 2 minutes there's players on the ground, so that's nice to see more.
Tuesday was not indicative of. We had a body on the pitch for nearly every minute of the second half, just cramps. And anytime there was contact, 1 minute added stoppage here in the opening half.
Club de Lion playing short players at one point, and player getting carried off in a stretcher only to come back on minutes
only brought
later.
12 players for a team that is young in its professional existence. That's who San Antonio beat on Tuesday night, but albeit with a very different lineup. Another card drawn. Lopez will call off his teammate and say, let me handle it. Luis Felipe was the recipient.
Interesting call on that one.
Third yellow for Sacramento. 4th of the match. Back out to Maloney. The whistle will blow in a exciting first half. Still words for the official on the side of Sacramento. What are your thoughts on the opening half?
Well, I think once Sacramento started to pick up on the fact that, hey, if we really spread the field, we cook it a little more in our half and then try to get in between seams, things are a little more effective in run of play. Even on set pieces in the attacking third, you're not going to get much off of SAFC. SAFC just killing it in their tiki-taka 1-2-3 up top, and just got to keep doing that.
Good opportunities for both teams, but 0-0 in this matchup between two teams tied at the top of the Western Conference. Break down the first half when we come back to San Antonio.
Every morning, I go through Chick-fil-A and pick up a large unsweetened iced tea with a splash of diet lemonade. One time, there was this handwritten note.
Who doesn't want to see a smiley face, you know?
I got another note on it the next time, and I was like, whoa, for just something so simple. This is like my little splash of sunshine.
Everybody wants to feel like you're appreciated and you're cared about.
That simple note has had such a big impact. I write notes on receipts now.
That's amazing.
It's my pleasure.
No, it's mine.
There's a powerful beast said to be roaming these woods. And if you listen carefully, you can hear it. And sometimes you can see its tracks. And every now and then, you get a quick glimpse of it.
Grandpa telling his stories again.
The 2023 Toyota Tundra. Better trucks make better stories. Toyota. Let's go places.
I had a great life and was in excellent physical shape. I never thought about the importance of heart health until I'd had a massive heart attack when I was just 35 years old. While on life support, I thought a lot about my son and the moments I would miss. Luckily, thanks to Methodist Healthcare, I received a heart transplant and a second chance. Now I understand that heart care is about more than just you. It's about being there for the ones that matter most, because your heart belongs to those you love.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals. We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
What's good, SAFC family? Brian Colbert here, one of our newest additions, Jacory Hayes. For those that don't know, last season started off kind of rough for you. You had a serious leg injury that you had to come back from. Talk to us about what the recovery was like and like what the perseverance is like going through such a serious injury. Like your leg is everything.
Yeah. It's even just off the field, just life, like no walking around. It was a tough for a couple months. So I broke it in July 20th, and then surgery was July 21st. It was a lot to go through, big adjustment, but I had a lot of friends on the team and family that looked out for me and always checked in to keep my spirits high. And it was difficult, especially mentally, coming back from an injury, trying to figure out what's next for me soccer-wise. And yeah, I'm just glad I landed here. Sometimes you take everything for granted in terms of like playing and being on the field, but as just being on the field now, it's like a true joy. Like I remember like just being so excited the first game, like, all right, I'm back on the field. So yeah, it was a lot to go through, but I'm happy I've overcome it.
Now, we're happy you're here as well, man. And you know, those type of injuries, it's a lot physically to go through, but it's a lot mentally to go through as well. That's a long time to sit out.
Yeah.
What did you learn about yourself during that time?
I had to learn that I'm more than a soccer player. I feel like I knew that before going in, but this really solidified, like, I gotta almost like separate your happiness from soccer. So it's like, if soccer's not going well, then I can't just be a sad person and like, you know, go through that. So it's finding other avenues for me to like find joy and being happy, and finding out who really is Jacory Hayes, like, was a big thing. So it's like, I'm really happy where I'm at.
All right, okay, so I gotta ask you then, in your own words, because the fans are getting to know you here.
Yeah.
Who is Jacory Hayes?
You know, I think I'm a nice, pretty chill guy. I love to smile, I love to laugh. I really love movies, so I find a lot of joy in finding, you know, like the next hidden gem, or like the next, you know, what is out in theaters right now. I just love to be happy and smile.
For me, starting out in this business, it was very overwhelming and also exciting. My name is Casey Hanlon, and SWBC PEO really helped propel my business. They have automated payroll systems for me. They helped create my employee handbook, and they have over 45 experts that know how to handle just about anything employee related. I could not have one person do the job that SWBC PEO does for us. Our partnership is not just business, it's a relationship.
Hi, sports fans. I'm Jeff Davis. To be a successful athlete, you need to have a great strategy. And just like your favorite competitor, at Davis Law Firm, we play to win.
Working remotely during this national emergency, we settled a wrongful death case for $6 million for the family of a father killed by a company van.
That means call the Fours because the Fours are with you. So if you've been in a car or truck wreck, call me at 444-4444. That's 444-4444. We'll come to you during this broadcast. That's right, there's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Every morning, I go through Chick-fil-A and pick up a large unsweetened iced tea with a splash of diet lemonade. One time, there was this handwritten note.
Who doesn't want to see a smiley face, you know?
I got another note on it the next time, and I was like, whoa, for just something so simple. This is like my little splash of sunshine.
Everybody wants to feel like you're appreciated and you're cared about.
That simple note has had such a big impact. I write notes on receipts now.
That's amazing.
It's my pleasure.
No, it's mine.
Zero contest here at halftime. San Antonio, Texas, Toyota Field. Matchup between two teams tied atop the table in the Western Conference. 5th match of this season. San Antonio FC and Sacramento Republic FC. Let's take you back to Tuesday night. The youngsters getting a go at it in the Open Cup for San Antonio. This was a thriller.
Huge thriller there. Carlitos doing a great job of blocking out a ton of goals, but this young SAFC Academy team coming up big for this SAFC first team and putting away goals. Roman Holt there scoring PKs, just the composure under pressure. I was so impressed with what I saw that evening. I mean, we're talking 15, 16, 17-year-olds going up against 20-plus-year-olds and acting like it was nothing. And it's just, I mean, talk about the gift that San Antonio FC as an organization has given to their academy, because there's not a ton of organizations that would be willing to put an entire academy team out there with the U.S. Open Cup on the line, and they had pure faith in them.
What was great, too, is that we saw the older players, the elder statesmen watching. They were in the building, and there was something at stake. This team trying to advance. They want to play MLS teams. That's what you get to do. That's what they got to do last year, and the young group got that opportunity. They had to take a little extra time to do it, but what a cool night.
It says so much about the soccer that's being built here in San Antonio. Every single player on that field is going to go somewhere and do something big because of opportunities like this where, you know, they're able to play professional soccer at such a young age. That's a big box on their soccer resume that not a lot of kids their age are able to check, and gave the first team a little bit of a taste of their own medicine by going into overtime, which I think I enjoyed the most.
So San Antonio, we know their opponent. It will be at Nashville FC, but we don't know the date yet. Stay tuned, social media. You'll find out when that will be. That's part of the U.S. Open Cup. San Antonio advancing. They have their hands full here tonight. Good matchup going on. We'll break down what we saw in the first half when we come back.
Had a great life and was in excellent physical shape. I never thought about the importance of heart health until I'd had a massive heart attack when I was just 35 years old. While on life support, I thought a lot about my son and the moments I would miss. Luckily, thanks to Methodist Healthcare, I received a heart transplant and a second chance. Now I understand that heart care is about more than just you. It's about being there for the ones that matter most, because your heart belongs to those you love.
H-E-B Meal Simple. Delicious, ready-made meals from recipes created by our chefs and ready in minutes. Like spinach and Parmesan stuffed flank steak and hundreds more. For better, tastier meals, the answer is simple. Meal Simple, only at H-E-B.
There's a powerful beast said to be roaming these woods. And if you listen carefully, you can hear it. Sometimes you can see its tracks. And every now and then, you get a quick glimpse of it.
Grandpa telling his stories again.
The 2023 Toyota Tundra. Better trucks make better stories. Toyota. Let's go places.
Teams getting ready to come out, warming up for this second half. Figures to be a good one. The first half was good between San Antonio and Sacramento. Republic FC, Tyler Denning, Katie Goodman. Katie, your thoughts on first half?
Well, 0-0 game, but no shortage of drama, in my opinion. And, you know, you can look at the stats, and you can see all day long it's always going to look like SAFC is falling behind on possession, but they're such a direct team that it's always going to look like that. And we've seen a couple of times already in the first half where they were extremely clinical with their first touch, which made all the difference in breaking those seams, breaking lines for Sacramento. But for Sacramento, they've just got to play their own game. I mean, I think there was a big chunk of time where they were just kind of mirroring what San Antonio was doing, which is what they're really good at, and which is why people struggle when they come here to Toyota Field. But they did a great job just spreading the field, using the width, and then breaking the seams for SAFC.
Both teams having really good scoring opportunities, shots in favor of San Antonio, shots on target in favor of San Antonio. You talk about that possession and the numbers, not necessarily indicative, but felt like a good ebb and flow, really evenly played first half, and that's what we came into this one expecting out of the history.
Expecting, no doubt. I mean, just such quality stuff, as you can see there. Getting a pulse check early on from the crossbar, and one after the other, just really great goalkeeping. Player of the match so far there. And even on the set pieces, just really good stuff from San Antonio FC. Players coming from just all angles. Bailey coming out of the back. Pirano, just a near miss. And,
Hayes with the left foot there.
Hayes with the near miss. And, yeah, good stuff.
It's Pirano that we saw earlier. That probably the best scoring opportunity for San Antonio. On the other end, Jordan Farr had to have an amazing save. Couple opportunities for Sacramento moving forward that could have easily ended in goals, but 0-0. Things stand through one half for these two teams, both 3-0-1, 10 points, tied with San Diego for first in the Western Conference.
As mentioned, if Sacramento can just maintain a little bit more possession, recycle the ball when things start getting a little cluttered there on their way into the attacking third, it's going to be a little bit easier for them to break lines against San Antonio. Always love to see what happens after the halftime break, what coaches have seen and what players choose to implement.
3 yellow cards to Sacramento in the first half. Connor Donovan received one in the 30th. Then in the 37th, Arnold Lopez. And then in 46th, Luis Felipe. There was one charge to San Antonio. They got the first of the match. Pirano in the 18th, so something to keep an eye on.
Definitely don't want anybody getting a double yellow, resulting in a red card. Would not be good for either side.
Mohamed Abu is the offender on the play that sent Luis Felipe to the pitch.
So that one was unintentional, just getting tangled a bit there. Good call from the ref.
There's one fan that came to play tonight. He is being keyed up.
Yeah.
That ball into the midst of Farr. Good energy from him.
Yeah, quite possibly San Antonio's greatest supporter.
Kitty, feels like for either team, it's just a matter of that last finishing touch. They've had good opportunities, but who can punctuate such?
Hit the nail on the head there. Quality build-up just like this one. Ooh.
Working through the whole back line did Pirano. Pirano's having a really good match. Every time ball finds him, he's just attacking with some vigor.
Yeah, he also just has a really good command of the ball. Great with the ball at his feet, and just defender there got on the end of it. Solid quality defense there from Donovan. But I think for Pirano, it's not just what he's doing with the ball on the dribble, it's his movement off the ball. You can see there, just making that throw-in difficult for Sacramento Republic. A lot of times you'll see on set plays, people tend to stagnate, and what you need is that movement, that rotation, and that's why we're seeing such pretty soccer up there in the right corner from Bailoni and Pirano.
Maloney earned his team some space and some time to get reset defensively after the throw-in. As Wheat will switch directions. Good challenge by Abu. Sacramento, though, remains in possession, work to the back line. Number 2, Jack Gurr, pressed all the way up.
Nice switch to Lopez. And again, a solid first touch too.
Bailey. Chose to challenge and chose correctly.
Great clean tackle on that one. Bailey has some really, really quick feet. He may not necessarily body someone off the ball, but he's so fast that it makes it difficult for forwards to turn on him and to really get anything off of him. And between him and Connor Maloney, it's a nice duo over there.
Corner for Sacramento Republic. That ball in, diving forward. That would have been a challenge for far.
Could have been a Sports Center top 10, no doubt, if he had gone into that. Look back at it here.
Happened so fast.
Ooh. Just missing a couple of foreheads there. Great.
Yeah, Sacramento choosing to not serve the ball in off the corner and ended up in a dangerous but ultimately harmless opportunity. It was Lopez diving. Timing just not quite there. Good shoulder on the challenge as Hayes on the receiving end.
Nice spring down there from Fabian. And that's just the thing about it, is you might get the ball up in the air quite a bit.
Give and go, numbers down there, challenges in the box.
That looks a bit like a PK to me.
Ja'Cory Hayes, heard about it at halftime, getting to know him, one of the new additions for San Antonio. We saw going to half Sacramento very vocal towards the official, pleading their case. You saw and feel as if the outcome should be different than.
It is a tough call because it wasn't a blatant behind the heels clip. It was, you could see he was trying to get on the side of it around him, but there was a bit of a tug prior to that highlight, and then to go in and try to clip him on the side. It's a tough one. It's
if
a tough
anything,
one to
maybe
call.
you call the foul and you call it outside the box. It was close enough.
Right, she could have called it prior to.
And now on the other end, hear the whistle on Maloney, and Maloney will get a yellow card.
This is like Oprah. It's a yellow for you, it's a yellow for you, yellow for everybody today.
San Antonio came in 6 yellow cards received across their 4 matches, but now seen 5 yellow cards, and this is what Maloney is.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know if that, I mean, there's a lot of momentum involved there. Not much of a touch. I would not have given that a yellow at all.
Or if it's any different than 5 or 10 challenges we've seen.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
Good head by Gurr. Sacrificing the body, Batista.
Ooh, I'd take a knee after that one too.
Yeah, he hits the deck. That was a good play by Jack Gurr. We've called his name plenty of times, but set up his teammate who put some oomph into the ball.
Again, nice solid header. Great to run onto from Matt LaGrassa. And it was driven and it was low, and that was really close. That was a point blank hit. So good on Batista for somehow sticking it out there.
Use the hip.
Yeah, the hip, when in doubt. It looked like that one went to the chest, possibly. Or the face.
So chippy opening sequence in this second half. These two teams. Questionable in terms of the looks that we saw and location as to where Hayes was. San Antonio clearly had an advantage moving forward with numbers and an opportunity there. Quickly back to the other side as officials trying to get control of chippiness of this match. Pirano falls to the ground, but enough to move it forward to Smith. Smith, it looked like just losing the footing.
Yeah, got a body on him. Might have lost some gas as well. Sometimes you go on a dead sprint, and then when you need your legs to work the most, they kind of just stop at times.
Work legs.
Come on.
Maloney will play the ball all the way back to the foot of Farr. Trying to serve it forward to Bailoni.
Which would have been a great run if not for Shane Wheat. They're protecting the back line. Funny thing about Wheat, his Twitter handle is Wheat Bread. I think that's really clever.
His last name is spelled W-I-E-D-T. So pronounced wheat, like W-E-E-T, or like wheat bread.
Wheat bread. It's one way to help people pronounce your name.
Another player to the pitch for Sacramento.
Speaking of Wheat, coach had said that he's just one of those players that hit the ground running from the start and has really made an impact.
Trying to catch up to that ball. Farr will keep it in play and in front of him.
You can always count on Farr to do the basics well, and even when it's a little above the basics, he makes it look like a basic because he's just got such great command of the ball.
Batista was being bothered up top by Rodrigo Lopez, who chose to sit down on the pitch after that interaction. Come out to be attended to. He'll be sent off the pitch to be looked at.
Does he need attending to, or was it just too late? Already committed.
Captain for Sacramento. Maybe just a little preemptive as the trainer came out, but
wellness check, never a bad idea.
yeah, err on the side of caution.
Yep.
Back in. Lopez.
Nice flick there.
Deep in the corner. Though incoming, about as close as you can get without being a corner kick.
Yeah.
Feels like emotionally maybe both of these teams came out and felt like, hey, we should have something to show for our first half, and they've been charged up. little scrappy. And
I mean, so many close calls. And that's the fun thing about soccer is the scoreline doesn't always depict the quality of the matchup.
depends on who you ask.
I suppose so. I mean, if you're watching like I'm watching, then I think it's pretty good.
That's what we have you up here for, to show us the game within the game.
Yeah. Let me tell you why this is a good thing. But at the same time, they do have us on the edge of our seats this entire time, which can be a little frustrating. I mean, we've seen quite a few shots on goal, near goal.
San Antonio wanted to sub. It was Shannon Gomez, number 22. You see standing up there. PC wanting to check out, but center official instructing him no, at least for the time being. Not sure what the communication reasoning was there.
Looks like PC might have a bit of a limp. Maybe they're just trying to play it safe.
PC will have to take the long way home, back to the bench.
Shannon Gomez has done quite a bit of work for this SAFC side, but this is his first time back after being called up to the Trinidad and Tobago national team. Guess still having to earn his place back in the lineup. Good attempt to control there.
Ball finally cleared. Pressuring all the way back. Smith right at the feet of Vidiello. Ooh, Villader was sliding.
You know that one hurts. Nothing like a ball. Just gently, beautifully placed right through the 5-yard box. Good on Bailey to let that one go, though. But had he been just a few steps ahead, would have been different.
It's a step or two. So far this evening for both teams, another whistle by Loney. The jersey in red that was on the ground and seems perplexed as to what he did to warrant the whistle.
You would think by now they would learn not to fight it back because the call's the call, but he felt compelled to speak his mind there. Ooh, high kick. That's probably why it was called.
Yeah, it's a broken record to speak on the player-official relationship. It is what it is throughout the course of the game. You just hope that you figure out, hey, what's a foul, what's going to be a foul, what's not going to be a foul tonight. And we've seen a couple instances where maybe that's been unclear for both sides. Look at the amount of yellow cards, especially for Sacramento, and think, well, what are they doing differently? Maloney play that ball out instead of back to the keeper. Throw incoming.
Shannon over there on that left side has given San Antonio quite a spark. He's got a lot of speed. He's very efficient with the ball, which is great to have someone there in that back pocket.
2 goals scored last year for Gomez. Taking the spot of tonight's captain, PC. Wonder if PC's back at the bench yet. It's just such a far walk. Like, couldn't be catty corner any further away from the San Antonio bench to where the official had instructed him to go off on the opposite side, and did get a good ovation all the way around. As another whistle. Not much flow of play here we've seen in the second half.
Yeah, lots of stoppage and set pieces, which only adds to, I think, the frustration on both sides and the physicality of the match. But looks like BC has taken his cleats off, getting an ankle wrapped there. I'm not too sure if that means he's good to go or gonna make it back. Looks like an ice pack, so might be done for the match.
Across the scrappiness of this second half, it seemed to have favored, at least thus far, Sacramento in terms of opportunities. Still a piece of tape that's been sitting on the pitch for the whole match that nobody has decided to grab. It's just killing me down there. The pitch looks great, nice and green, well manicured, mown, and here we have the tape just sitting there about.
Does that not bother anybody else?
Yeah, 10 yards from half. Another substitution, it looks like, coming for San Antonio. Struck on the ground far. Easy eyes and hands on that.
Yeah, Sacramento starting to get some momentum there and run of play. You see them switch it side to side a lot. I think it would benefit them for their central midfield to get a little more connected on that last switch. It would have been way more dangerous to just have an easy ball right there in the middle, but central midfielders just a little bit detached. Kind of forcing the ball from sideline to sideline. Switches aren't bad, you just want to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
David Loretta will be the substitution for San Antonio. Ja'Cory Hayes checking out and going the far side around. This time closer, at least it's on this half for him to access his team's bench. Maybe the official doesn't want players chatting on the way in and out, teammates chatting on the way. I'm not sure. Have you ever seen that?
It looked like, I have no idea what just happened there. I thought maybe it had gone, she thought it had gone out of bounds or something, but no, it's right here up in the box.
So 2 substitutions for San Antonio. Nothing yet for Sacramento Republic. These two teams about as even as you can be across the series history. 4 wins for both, 2 ties, 10 goals scored by both. Last year split the series. San Antonio won at home, 1-0. Sacramento won at home, 1-0. So this is the decider.
Yeah.
All the marbles here tonight between these two teams, but it does have importance. We talked to Coach Briggs. You'd asked him about the importance of this. Do you play with a little more extra juice? They're very much committed to the process, and a lot of coaches will tell you that, and they are. It's a long season. You can't try to get up for one team any more than another until it's later on in the season. But you look at the standings, you know, and we do, especially in the media, and think, well, geez, these two teams are off to a great start. The goal scoring for Sacramento, their +7 goal differential is first in the USL. San Antonio +4 in their goal differential, but I think no secret how dynamite they have been here at home over the last year. Teams, especially good teams, licking their chops thinking, hey, can we be the ones that break this streak?
Yeah, break the magic that is Toyota Field.
Because the longer it continues, the harder and harder it gets. This team's so much confidence, San Antonio, playing here. That may be one of the differences tonight I've noticed as well. The crowd been a little quiet
Yeah, not as much crazy rowdiness. I mean, we've heard a couple of things from some of these supporters nearby.
Pirano challenge in the box, trying to track down the ball. Nacho Bailoni, who remains down on the pitch, face first. Back the other way. Farr will collect. Is Bailoni still down on the pitch, clutching at that left shoulder. Coach Marcina wondering what has happened.
Good effort to keep it in play, but oh yeah, that was a clear shoulder check off the ball and in the box of all things. Lucky for him, ref didn't see that one.
Get the idea for the defender trying to shield is give your time.
You can
to your
shield,
keeper,
but that was a
yeah.
shoulder check. That was a little bit different.
Yeah, there's a difference between a shield, you know, a screen, and good check.
Yeah.
Bailoni obviously back up. Good job by Batista to influence that ball. Nearly led to an opportunity for Smith.
That entire run of play from defense to offense just felt like a swarm of flies. I mean, great job in recovering the ball, but not any kind of breathing room for Sacramento Republic on that one. So good on them to get it out and switch the field.
Jack Gurr, the recipient of a hard challenge. Yellow card flash.
I'd like to see that replay. Ooh, yeah, body check from the back. That's gonna get you a slap on the wrist every time.
See, the point we've talked about it, though, is can you get consistency?
Right.
Can you officiate consistently across both halves of the pitch and throughout both halves of the game and match and not officiate to the area of the field or the opportunity? Obviously, easier said than done, but.
No, that I agree with completely. There has been a little bit of inconsistency on the calls, but both sides, I think.
And you can't just not call it because it happens in the box versus 2 feet from out of bounds, and it's not going to be as potentially detrimental to the offending team.
Connor Maloney just, again, diving header there in the box. What was that?
Another hard challenge to the ire of the home fans. It's across all the way. Nearly clear through via Dare.
And that last one's starting to hear a lot more from the fans because that was a very clear, blatant foul. That was missed.
So it is what it is, and you have to know the physicality of this match is ratcheted up, and you have 6 players out there. 6 yellow cards have been issued.
Zico Bailey, solid on defense tonight. He's just reading everything, almost completely shutting down Rodrigo Lopez out there on the left side. I mean, he's done it time and time again, and he hasn't had to do anything crazy like make any big tackles, just reading the game well, and that's kind of how you want to be as a defender. They say if you're tackling, it's already too late. It's the last thing you want to have to do is tackle.
Give and go, one of the more interesting ones. I don't think that was intentional.
Oh, no, not at all. You could see he was trying to get on the end of that driven ball, and, you know, good on him to keep it low. A lot of people, they just, you know, football field goal it.
Yeah, it was just Gerson it back to where he got it.
unfortunately offsides. That's why, you know, it's easy to get caught looking at the pass. And that's one of those things, once you put it into play, you need to be thinking immediately, where do you go next?
Maloney trying to use the head to find Pirano. Throw incoming for Sacramento. Maloney having a chat with the official as he once again felt on the victim end, a hard challenge.
One of the more expressive players, I think, out there. He's got the shoulders and the hands. Looks very Italian.
I definitely understand that. I'm a very nonverbal communicator as well. So different second half, it feels like, than the first half. First half was really clean, good-looking, free-flowing soccer, moving up both sides, both teams with opportunities, both keepers with good saves. Jordan Farr that prevented the first goal of the match, and one that was right on frame. And best opportunity for San Antonio was Christian Pirano with a left-footed strike that connected with the crossbar as Bailoni trying to just chip that one over the top, but easy doing for Vida. Hello, as San Antonio still controlling.
It's a great effort from Bailoni on that last one, but oof. Nobody seems to be contesting it too much, other than the crowd, which is their job.
San Antonio looks ready to utilize their third final substitution, but not quite signaled in yet. We approach the 75th minute. Not a goal scored yet, but opportunities for both teams. Multiple coming in the first half. Good push forward, Pirano. Play it off the defender.
But wise pressure there from Wheat. I mean, that's exactly what you want your defender to do in that situation on a fast break. It's hard to beat him on the outside because he's got these long legs. He's so tall. You really aren't going to beat him in a foot race.
Kakariniak will be the inserted substitute for San Antonio. Last of the match. Zico Bailey sitting down.
Interesting to see what happens with Kakariniak, because he was only added just a few days ago. But if Batista has shown us anything, it doesn't really matter when you come to the squad, as long as you just fit in as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we were told literally just added. Communications team from SAFC that Reniak probably still getting settled. Now inserted into this 0-0 match that has turned into a very scrappy one. Ball served forward, but just trying to find a boot. Griniak.
But did you see the way he rounded his run? That's exactly what you want to do in that situation, and we haven't seen a ton of that from SAFC yet, and I really like how he was able to lose the defender. That's how he got a tip on it. It was hard to control, so did the best he could there, but that was some good stuff so far. Just a couple minutes in.
If that.
Yeah.
So San Antonio has used their trio. Sacramento, it looks like, will dip into their subs, a duo on deck to come in. The Grassa one coming off. Lopez as well. Rodrigo Lopez. Luther Archimede, number 17. On, as is Keko Ganten.
Solid effort there from Pirano. Exactly what I would have wanted him to do to get on the end of that. Just recuperated there by Vitilio. Again, a quality performance from him. He's just doing all the right things tonight, and he's not had any easy breaks either.
Keep an eye on number 7 in black for Sacramento Republic, Keko. Played the highest level in La Liga. So this is a player that his club really likes, and Coach Briggs likes to bring that experience over to the pitch. Has a goal and assist on the year.
It's always fun when you can bring a player in who has so much experience like Keko in La Liga. I mean, we're talking not just experience in big tough moments, but you know, speed of play. Just bring something a little bit different to the pitch.
Maloney back to far. So will it be San Antonio? They love to strike late.
That's the thing about them. You can't count them out. You can't blink twice at any point in the game because they are relentless.
Was in the 85th for Bailey against Monterrey, their last USL match. Showed you highlights of the US Open Cup match. Happened in extra time after the pressure in the box. Roman Holt took the penalty kick. So does San Antonio have their late game theatrics heroics? Or could Sacramento Republic finally stop the unbeaten streak here at Toyota Field? 20 matches. San Antonio has not dropped. Last loss over a year ago. That year flipped just a week ago on the 2nd. Gurr trying to go back and forth through the wickets. And it caught just enough of the San Antonio defense. Stop the motion of the play.
Had a boule an egg there, but luckily recuperated by the SAFC back line.
Was the sub Archimede that took just a glance at the ball, but nothing challenging for the league's keeper of the year. San Antonio doing this without one of their leaders, defender of the year, and Mitchell Tainer out tonight.
And with him gone, all things considered, keeping it together really well.
Space for Pirano. Been feeling it tonight, but lost his handle just momentarily as a corner coming.
In true Pirano fashion, getting that corner turnover. I think a lot of times for SAFC, if you want to look at stats that are indicative of who's commanding more of the ball, it's typically the corners for SAFC. Possession being very, it's not a great statistic.
Gomez to Pirano. Pirano will serve the ball in. It was Batista that was just shielding off the defense. Seven and a half minutes plus stoppage for these two teams. 10 points each thus far. Fifth match for both in this young season. Won't meet again until June. June 24th. In Sacramento. Split last year, but we didn't see goals. 2 of them. 1 scored by each team.
The last matchup, goal came early in 17 minutes, and then SAFC just had to fight tooth and nail to defend it. In this case, both fighting tooth and nail just to make sure they get on the end of it.
It feels a little like both teams know, hey, we may be playing one another further down the line with things at stake. And for Sacramento, were they to walk out of here with a draw, that is admirable given how good San Antonio has been here at home. Obviously, both teams wanting the win, but coming off a long week as well with that U.S. Open Cup match thrown in there. San Antonio a little banged up.
Yeah, I mean, quite a bit of their bench missing for SAFC, working with a slightly different lineup. But again, last season, 32 different lineup combinations, so not something Marcina likes to use as an excuse.
Pirano with space. Keeps it himself. Off the defense. Another corner coming as Gomez will head down.
Pirano good on the dribble. Tends to get himself caught in the corner there, but at least he can make something of it. Getting a corner for SAFC.
San Antonio is well outside that goalkeeper line. From what they've done earlier is this ball remains down in the attacking third. Boo for Batista. Batista long on the service ball. Vidiello there easily.
Yeah, I mean, good idea there from Batista, trying to chip in just a little bit too much oomph on it. Whole thing kind of started from that corner, the struggle, trying to recuperate, and you can tell San Antonio is struggling to get their flow right now. Just not a ton of really solid combinations there in the attack. Again, got to be tired. Both teams giving everything here in these final moments. Intensity tends to pick up here.
Batista back to far with the head. San Antonio will get organized.
Clear push and a shove. Is Bailoni cradling that ankle.
Final sub coming for Sacramento. Luis Felipe will be the player that will be leaving. Nick Ross, the one coming in.
Looks like he might have just tweaked it there, trying to keep himself from going out of bounds. San Antonio is out of subs, so unless he can pull it together with some of the special magic spray. Looks like his knee.
I'm not sure, I think 24, Connor Donovan had come over and he grabs the water bottle, has an opportunity to sneak some water from the San Antonio trainer, who then decides to move his water kit away from the reach of Donovan as he attends to Bailoni. Yeah, there's always gamesmanship
Pettiness
going
on
on
all
down there.
levels.
Hey, but when you're thirsty and you see water, you go for it.
Heck, yeah, I can understand.
Don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. Bailoni working out that right knee is he's played a physical match. We've seen quite a few instances where he's been challenged. He's been on the receiving end of hard physical play.
In the past couple of matches too, I think he's starting to get a target on his back in the league. People know they have to be extremely physical with him. So you can't give him space, that's for sure. It's usually really good players that get targeted like that up top. And we have Justin Dillon sitting out too. Hasn't been in the past couple of games. Another one of those really solid play creators up top with height.
So as Bailoni limps and stretches to go back in, Arnold Lopez will be the one that limps to go out, with Nick Ross checking in. So both teams burning their full complement of subs. We approach the dwindling moments. Gomez getting to that ball just in time. Can San Antonio do something with it? Gomez trying to play it down into the corner, and
he's got that speed. Great run there, and you know, it's so hard to receive a ball from behind, but he just let it come through his legs as a step over and then continued the momentum. Just couldn't get on the end of the rest of it, but good effort there from him. And that's the thing about Gomez, he kind of infuses the squad with a spark of energy just when you need it. Great service from Keko there. I think Gurr could have done a hard cut and served it with his left on that last one.
It's a hard strike by Keko, but deflected by the defensive wall. Some space to operate for Sacramento. As we hit the 90th minute, 5 minutes will be added of extra time. Far will play it quickly back the other way.
Nice use of the head there from Connor. Sea of black jerseys, this is where you want a ton of movement from your midfielders and forwards. It's a little bit too stationary there.
San Antonio bench not happy with how Maloney was challenged. The official not happy with the reaction from the San Antonio bench, presented with a yellow card. And Katie, you didn't think when these two teams would get together tonight that we would have seen 7 yellow cards. We knew it was going to be a competitive, spirited match, but 7 yellow cards?
Yeah, and you know, I will say sometimes that does depend on the ref, what they let go and what they don't, but it has been a little bit all over the board for me here.
San Antonio came into this just 6 on the season. As you can see in the all black, it's PC up, as is Marcina. So 4 yellow cards for San Antonio, bringing their total to 10. 3 for Sacramento.
And another.
These teams have been even in every statistical category that we've talked about coming into this historically and tonight as well. So might as well even it up. In terms of yellow cards, that obviously not the idea of the official, but
yeah.
The numbers tell a story for us.
It's pure ridiculousness. I mean, good on the call. Yeah, it was after the fact. You could see where they ran into each other. You can't help much with momentum there, but over the shoulder grab, that's where things get complicated.
Another challenge in the box, fighting for space. Off the deflection was Pirano, but nothing warranted. It's 90 seconds on the clock. Does either team have one last challenge, or do both walk out of here? Their second draw of the year. Maloney sacrificing his body still late in the match. 3-0-1, the record for both teams. Tied atop the table. San Diego, 10 points as well heading into this evening. Wow, on the field as well.
This doesn't make a ton of sense to me to bring Russell Cicerone. We've got a...
Yeah, it was a fan that came out onto the field has dropped his AirPod now, but he came out with a big yellow card. Ran right up to the official. That is the standing ovation for the young fan. Looks like he lost one of his shoes.
Security guard, he almost makes his way back out onto the pitch just to recuperate him all over again. Crowd goes wild. Wow.
Katie, that felt like it was a forced substitution for Sacramento. They sent a duo in earlier, then there was the injury to Lopez, or when Lopez was down, that they had substituted out. Is my count off?
So much has happened, I don't know.
Can more happen here as San Antonio does have the ball down? So we are past the stoppage time. The added time was 5 minutes. So is this really two different stories, first half to second half? It was a clean, really enjoyable first half of the match with multiple scoring opportunities for both teams, but second half has devolved into a fouling, yellow card laden, very scrappy, uncharacteristic from what we had seen in the first half.
Yeah, just
like
lots
first
of
half, it was,
brawling.
hey, I want another half of that, and it's been very different.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when frustrations reach an all-time high, that went out. There you go. Ref catching that one. Corner. Unlucky there for Vitilio, because really he's been so good all night long. Really quality hands, just misread there. Sometimes it's the easier balls that you mess up, especially in such an intense game like this.
Maybe the fan that ran onto the field is giving some life to this crowd who sees their team with one more opportunity as the ball trickles through, back out to Maloney. San Antonio have one last push.
See Batista camping out there in the middle. if you can give him a nice, easy ball, the top of the 18, he might be able to get on the end of it.
So an interesting match. San Antonio does extend their streak of unbeatens. It's now 15-0-6, but no goals scored in a scrappy contest between two leaders top the Western Conference standings. Both teams will now elevate to 11 points. But Katie, your thoughts on this one that was really two different halves?
Yeah, I think you hit on it pretty good there. In the second half, it was hard to read, you know, especially in the final quarter. That's when things just got a little chaotic and more physicality than necessary, and less, you know, pretty soccer and solid plays and clinical ability in the box, I think, from both sides. But prior to that, it was a pretty good matchup. But, you know, I guess when going gets tough, you just got to keep with it.
Sacramento will have Colorado next up at home for San Antonio on the road against Louisville City FC. 0-0 in this one, but both teams advance with the point, remain tied atop the Western Conference standings. Maybe some showcase as to what will happen later in the season when these two teams get together. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. For Katie Goodman, Tyler Denning, good night from San Antonio.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.